This blog or podcast may be my last one of the COVID crisis, or maybe I'll have another idea. This one is called No Extra Time, or NET, as Tony Robbins calls it. So before this COVID crisis, I was employing NET, or no extra time, during my drives to work. So what that means is there's so much time that's wasted during the day that we are not productive. And this is something that hopefully will be applicable for you now as well as after the crisis is over and you return to work. But during that drive to work, which is only a short 15 minutes, I would be listening to an audiobook. I would be learning a foreign language, whatever it may be. And so I've learned many languages over the last few years. And even though some of them I may not remember, once I go back and learn it one more time in a month, again, using no extra time, it comes right back to me. And you can listen to my last podcast on how to learn a language. So I know a lot of you may not be auditory learners, and that may be an advantage for me that I can learn auditorily, but I would encourage you to try to learn as an auditory learner when you go back and finish this crisis. You say, well, how does this apply to me now? I mean, I have so much extra time, I don't know what to do with it. Well, for me, it's all about even being productive during that time that you have extra time. For example, I love painting. And so I'm now, during this time, been able to really indulge deeply into very complex paintings that I will be using for my home. Fortunately, I finished all the ones for my office in November of last year, but I've really taken it to a different level now. But even during that time that I'm painting, instead of just painting, I'm also listening to an audiobook. Audible is a great resource to learn. And it's amazing. I was listening to an audiobook that's about 14 hours long, thinking this is going to take me forever. Well, in about 3 or 4 days of painting, I actually finished that audiobook. So, that's, again, it didn't take me any extra time. So now I'm not driving, but I'm doing other things. You may be cleaning the house. You may be doing other things. You may have put a headphone set in and learn something. Maybe it's a foreign language. Maybe it's something inspirational. I listen to sermons. I listen to some inspirational music. There are things that motivate, inspire me, and there's also some shorter ones. So let's say you want to learn things in a more compressed format. Blinkcast, Blink, like you're blinking your eye, Blinkcast, I-S-T, Blinkcast, is I think about $70 a year. I subscribe to that, and you get all these encapsulated audiobooks that are very short, like 10 minutes long, on Theodore Roosevelt, his biography, on leadership, whatever it may be. And so it's very short. There's also another one, I can't remember. There's so many ones like that, but I use Blinkcast that works really well. And you can go through, and then you can click on like 10 of them, and you can just listen to all of them. Now, of course, if you are more visual, they actually have it in a transcript format as well. But think about this. You listen to a 20-hour audiobook, and if I asked you, what did you learn out of that audiobook, you probably can summarize it in about 5 sentences. But then I said, can you speak about it for another hour? Well, you may not be able to, because there's so much detail in there that you forget. So this is a way for you to have an encapsulated learning of so many topics so quickly. And I do that again while I'm painting or whatever I may be doing. The other thing is I may have listened to a 20-hour audiobook, and I want to re-encapsulate some of the basic knowledge points that I learned from that audiobook. And instead of listening to the whole 20-hour audiobook, that 14-hour audiobook was actually the second time I listened to it. But sometimes you just want a shorter version, and then I just go back and listen to something that I've already listened to in long format, or I listen to it in short format and I want to listen to it again. So one thing I encourage you is to think of this Tony Robbins concept that he calls NET, no extra time, and whether you're during this time that you're sheltered in place or even afterwards, you could actually use it as well. Now, I did warn people during that How to Learn Language podcast that if you're driving and you can't concentrate, please don't have an accident. Don't make this like texting and driving. For me, I'm very intuitive. I don't even think about the language. It's just processing in my subconscious when I'm driving. But definitely, please be careful. If you can't concentrate on the road and you're listening to an audiobook or something, don't have an accident. But if you say, well, I only have a 10-minute commute, 10 minutes twice a day is 20 minutes, times one week is 100 minutes. So that's a lot of time that you're wasting listening to nothing. So this is a good time to be productive and thoughtful, obviously being careful and safe on the road as well. So hopefully that helps you either during this time or afterwards.